Can you recall the cold, creeping sensation as a child after you are sent to bed with the bedroom light off, after your bedroom door is closed, inducing your body and mind with sweats and distorted ripples in audio and visual senses? Well, whether you do or not, this tended to be a nightly endeavour for me growing up. I endured a barrage of nightmares and night terrors for years to come, and as these occurrences grew, so did my insomnia, paranoia, and my fading grip on reality within the realm of the night. Some of them tended to repeat, not only once. It was like an ongoing torture, overwhelming my young and fragile mind, approaching only when I was most vulnerable. I would be sent to bed without having seen my parents. It was more their voices which rallied me. I would drift to my room through a long corridor, and then finally to my chamber. As I would lay in my bed, I happened to be facing a closed door, which always appeared so very far away. And as a child, I would always feel compelled not to leave the comfort or safety of my covers. To make things worse, the nightmare was always very lucid. I was as physically and very mentally aware of the situation. Shortly after gathering my surroundings, a darkness begins to drape over the room. It's then followed by a sudden coldness and silence. The room would seem to emit a perilous degree of pressure over my body, a sensation that the atmosphere of the room has shifted and grown heavier. The shadows on the walls would appear to shift and break, then blend together, forcing remaining light into a thick blanket of darkness. Eventually my eyes would adjust. The room would become partially recognisable in a flurry of grey. Then finally, to my regret, I am again able to see. I would strive to close my eyes and wish myself awake as I braced myself for what would follow. The faint smell of burning begins to fill the room, like that of a dying bonfire. I lay praying that I can wake up. I now feel the end of the long mattress starting to rise from its end. I'm then beginning to feel myself freeze, along with the sensation of goosebumps rising across my body. I then feel it rise a second time. I turn in a bed, trying to wish this nightmare away. However, I'm now beginning to hear the sound and the feeling of something pressing under the mattress, slowly merging towards the end. It's the same sensation as though I'm laid out on a boat, lifted by subtle waves growing as they struck at the end. I can see the movement of shadows through my eyes, noticing long, terrible, skeletal arms stretching out, raising high above the bed. As I'm peeking through my eyelids, then suddenly, I feel two elements of weight apply pressure onto the end of the bed, some distance from my feet. I'm imagining long, sharp, edged digits piercing into the sheets. The underwhelming darkness and soft silence are overstimulating my mind. I begin picturing what terror awaits me, what it is that's slowly emerging closer. I can now hear it tearing as its jagged digits anchor into the fabric as it nears closer and closer. I know that is tending to pull itself free as I feel the lifting sensation of the mattress. A muffled gasping ensues like a masked mouth, followed by the sound of something wet and slick, like the sound of something large, emerging, being birthed at half speed. I know it's coming for me, and there is nothing I can do other than pray that I wake up. It continues to drag its body up and out from the darkness under the mattress, feeling it clawing inch by inch closer towards me. I am now overcome by some malign puppetry as I am thrown onto my back from my side. My eyes, fortunately, are still closed, and I am now facing up to the ceiling, feeling it drawing closer. Slowly, it's bringing its terrible presence over my sensory neglected body. My eyes are itching, and the rest of my body is not mine to will. I feel this moment elapsing like an eternity. Finally, the last bastion of my safety is slipping. I feel its horrific presence as it braces over me. The scent of dying bonfires, that of its wet flesh as it drips onto me. This thing, it wants me to be aware. I'm fucking terrified, and I have no power here. I feel my control slip as my eyelids begin to twitch. A brief glimpse of the grey light. A shadow. No, a figure. I struggle, to no avail. My eyes, they begin to open. My vision blurred. I feel disoriented. I begin to recognise a vile, skeletal figure laying over me, glistening. Its pale, colourless, dirty flesh, wet from its interreal birth. I use what strength I have, attempting to turn my head away, only for to have it force it back. It becomes darker again, even darker still, as it brings the silhouette of its head closer. I can see no features on its fleshy face, only a skeletal cascade of bone. It raises a large, three-fingered hand to its empty face, piercing its flesh with its jagged digits, tearing at the skin, slowly piercing and ripping like thin rubber. Then suddenly, it forces its digits within, snapping down what becomes a huge, malformed jaw, gaping and streaming a vile, disgusting hot breath, with its saliva oozing. Then suddenly, it... Hey guys, this is Billy James from Night Terror Films. We hope you enjoyed that nightmare. There are many more to follow. So join the Night Terrors and subscribe. Just remember, the only thing worse than a nightmare is waking up.